All right, we're going to apply some transformations to our sine and cosine function. So here are some steps that we're going to follow. We're going to find the amplitude. We're going to identify if we have a horizontal reflection. If that happens, we'll have a negative a. We're going to find the period using the equation 2 pi over b. Step 4, if there is a vertical shift, there is going to be a d that occurs. So you're going to move that horizontal line at y equals d. Phase shifts occur when we adjust that bx plus c. So we could be moving it right or left. After that, we start graphing. You do want to make sure you have 2 full revolutions and that you're labeling your x and y axes. So let's go ahead and do an example. Determine the amplitude and period of y equals 2 sine of 1/2 x and then graph the function from 0 to 8 pi. So step 1, we want to identify the amplitude. So we're going to identify the a. This is our a value. So we're going to take the absolute value of 2, which is 2. We're going to identify if there's a horizontal reflection. So is there a negative a? No. So there is none, because the a is a positive 2. Then we want to find the length of one revolution. So the period is 2 pi over b. So this 1/2 is our b. So we're going to take period equals 2 pi over 1/2. Well, I'm going to change this to 2 pi over 1 divided by 1/2. So we have a fraction divided by a fraction. So we're going to keep the 2 pi over 1. We're going to change it to multiplication, and then we're going to flip that 1/2 to 2 over 1. Now we multiply across. 2 pi times 2 is 4 pi, and then divided by 1 is still just 4 pi. So one revolution is a distance of 4 pi. Now there aren't any other additional transformations in this first problem. So we're going to identify the x-axis, and we're going to start at 0, and then we're going to finish our first revolution at 4 pi. And then we're going to split it in half. 2 pi, split in half again, pi, and 3 pi. And then we're going to go up on the y-axis 2 units. Maybe I'll make this a little bit bigger so you can see it. So I'll say this is 1, and that's 2, just so it stretches out a little bit. So this would be 1, and that would be 2. Then we go down to there. All right, we're ready to graph. So we're graphing a sine function. So if you remember a sine function from earlier in our lesson, starts in the middle, works its way up to that top of that amplitude, so 2, heads back down, and then to the middle for those 5 endpoints. So we're going to do the same pattern. We're going to start in the middle. The first increment, we're going to go up to the highest point, 2. The next increment, we're at 0. Then back down to the bottom, and then to the middle. So this would be considered, in the purple, what I just graphed, 1 revolution. It has a distance of 4 pi. Now, to continue another revolution, because it wants our graph to be between 0 and 8 pi, we're going to create some more increments. So this would be 8 pi and that would be 6 pi. And my writing's getting a little small, so I can't create that 5 pi and 7 pi. And now we just continue the pattern. At 5 pi, we're going to go up to 2. At 6 pi, we'll be at 0. At 7 pi, we'll be at -2. And at 8 pi, we'll be at 0. Here's an example where we're going to have a vertical shift. So step 1 is to identify the A. So the A is 2. So we're going to take the opposite value of 2, which is 2. We do not have a horizontal reflection because our A is positive. Now we're going to find the length of one revolution. So the period is 2 pi over B. Well, our B value is right here at 1. So 2 pi over 1 is 2 pi. The last piece is this plus 1. Our D value is a positive 1. So that means all of the ordered pairs are moving up 1 unit. So what I've done is I've created a horizontal line at y equals 1 in the green for us. This is our vertical shift up 1 unit. All right, let's go ahead and graph this. So we're going to start at 0. And I'm going to stretch this out to 2 pi, split it in half using my midpoint formula, pi, split it in half, pi over 2, split it in half, 3 pi over 2. Now from that new green line, which is our horizontal shift, our horizontal line, y equals d, we're going to move 2 units up and then 2 units down. That's getting a little small there, but that's okay. So this number is 3, and that's -1. So our graph is going to exist from here to there. All right, we're ready to graph the 5 points. So this is a cosine function. So earlier in our lesson, the cosine function starts at that top endpoint, works its way down, and then back up. So we're going to follow that pattern. So we're going to start at the top, but now our green line is our middle in that next increment. And then our bottom of our amplitude is at -1. I'm going to go back to the green line and then back to the top. So that is 1 revolution. Now you can continue this same pattern, but I'm just going to leave it just so you can see what 1 full revolution of a transformation of a vertical shift.